I first came across the name Richard Shaver when I was reading books about the Hollow Earth. What stuck out for me about the Shaver mystery was the fact that Shaver never wrote about a Hollow Earth. He wrote about people who lived in a cave society. They were the Darrows, and he'd been there, and he came back and he told his stories. Today Shaver is an obscure character, but his stories still live on, but people aren't aware of who he is at all. So hopefully, with this film, we can take a step into Shaver's mind.
So, 12,000 years ago, the elders moved under the surface into the cavern world, you know, where there was vast cities. There was 50 billion people living under there. And, well, you know, even that wasn't good enough. You know, they vainly thought they could survive there, but no, the disradiation reached down there too. And you know, the elders left the earth. They left the earth, but some remained. The abandoned Deros. That's in the ancient language Mantong. That's what they're called. Deros for short. These Deros degenerated more and more. But they were immortals as well, so they've been living there for thousands of years. Now, we were people who, you know, we were once elders, but we moved to the surface, so we're pathetic creatures, really. Now we are slowly becoming Deros ourselves, you know.
Are you disappointed that your warning wasn't heeded? And
well, yeah, see, the warning I had was that that we should actually go under there and attack the Deros, because they are tampering with our lives. They're beaming rays at us. They are damaging our brains. The reason we can't hear them is because they have machines that are beaming rays into our heads to stop us from realizing that they're there.
Yeah.
And we have to just tunnel under the surface, and we have to destroy them, because there's a war going on.
Have you any regrets about finding these people beneath the earth?
Regrets? No, you can't regret the truth. It's had an effect on my family, of course, because, you know, I've been a target of the Deros. Targeted me.
Did you feel it was, I suppose, your destiny to discover it and to tell the world?
Well, you know, I'm practical, really. I'm a practical person. That's kind of a labeling me as a prophet or something, which I'm not. Well, maybe. If things are done about, I mean, if somebody does something about this, then I'm a prophet. You asked me earlier if I was disappointed.
Yeah. Like,
you see, people are just living their lives, you know, going to work, shopping, whatever they do. And they don't realise that life is a scream in the face of a bright madness.
Richard Shaver believed he had travelled to a world beneath our own, not a hollow earth, but a world of huge caverns that people on the surface were completely blind and unaware. Since you left the caves, have you ever felt the influence of the Darrows? Do you suspect them in disrupting your life?
Yeah, I mean, they have got a lot of technology, so they're, ancient inventors in ancient times. They, for instance, it's just spiteful things. They make my cigarettes taste like garbage, and they're not. It's not just me, And they are. I've got letters from people. I got a letter from a man who said they torture him. The machines they use. He experienced the same year over and over again. He was trapped in 1 year of his life and he had to live it 12 times or something. With their time ray or whatever it was. I do know they have this thing called a Ben ray, which it's a healing thing. The elders invented it to heal wounds, but they use that for torture, so that the victim doesn't die. So the physical torture can go on for years. In fact, there's one case where they dismembered a body, but all the parts are still alive, thanks to this Ben ray. So it's not just me, There's things they haven't done to me, but that's probably because I'm less susceptible to the rays.
When did you first become aware of the Darrows?
I was working in an automobile factory. My job was to use a welding gun, and by some freak, accident, something to do with the attunement of the welder, I began to hear the thoughts of my co-workers, and then I began to hear voices, but they weren't from anyone I could see around, and then I realized they're coming from under the ground, that I was hearing what was going on under there. And that's when I became aware of the Darrows, because I heard I heard what was going on down there. Now they're using rays to stop people hearing normally, and that normally people don't hear the Darrows. They're using rays to stop that. By an accident, I became immune to those rays.
What evidence have you got to support your claim of a lost civilization?
The evidence is all around us. I mean, what do you think these are?
Rocks?
These are silica books. The elders of, the original civilization of surface dwellers, before the sun became harmful 20,000 years ago, this is their art and literature, 3D books, where you're sitting in a library here.
Yeah.
And people just walk by, they don't realise how beautiful these are, they don't realise every one of these, is a beautiful piece of art. If we can get these Darrows and their harmful rays, out of our lives, we will see the treasures that lie all around us.
What do you think the future holds for mankind?
Look, unless we go into the cabin world and seriously wage war on the Darrows, mankind has no future. Eventually the Darrows will make slaves of all of us. Now, people think life is, it isn't. The way people live their lives, their experiences of joy or whatever, it's just brain damage that makes people think that's life. Life is a silly sound, like a death rattle from a dying clown in the night.
Shaver's ideas are really bleak, but also really beautiful. The fact that we could be surrounded by the remnants of a library from an ancient civilization, it is a wonderful thought. And maybe we are blinded by rays directed at us from beneath. Richard Shaver told the truth as he saw it. And who's to say he's wrong? He got to tell his story. Most people never get to tell their stories. If you say it quietly but consistently, it will be heard in time. And that story will outlive you. It will give you an immortality. But only the stories that are worth telling will be remembered. So, if anything, we should remember Richard Shaver as a great example of someone who was finally listened to, maybe not believed, but people did pay attention to him.
What people think life is, it isn't.
Somewhere in this wet and getting darker by the minute forest is a stone marker. Its purpose is unknown, but local legend has it that it ties in with underground caverns in the locality. We're doing our best to find it before nightfall, but we've been given directions and we're scouring the area as best we can, but we'll find it. This marker in the middle of this very eerie and bleak forest is one of 3 that local legend talks about. The second site has been located, but it was just a mound of rubble and a clearing in the forest, similar to this. The third has never been found. Some of the sites, there's theories about some of the sites may have been discovered, but centuries ago every stone was carted off by persons unknown, so that secret may not be found. But it also talks about that if you triangulate the sites of the 3 markers on a map of the locality, where they intersect, that shall be the entrance to the cavern world. So I guess the entrance is close. All legends certainly die hard in the land within its free. The area around here is riddled with natural caves. What we're doing this morning is we've taken the 3 triangulation points. One we saw last night, the other one is known locally, and the other one is a guess. It's our guess. We put it on a local map of the area, and now we've come up with a cross section, and we basically are now going to look for the cave entrance now, and we're pretty close to it. Well, it's taken us some time, but we found what local people have told us is the site of the cave, where the 3 points triangulate on a map of the locality, and it points directly here. The 3 points were the one we were at last night, the ruins sort of, there's a small pile of rubble somewhere else which we haven't found, but it's known locally. And the third is really a guess. It's just a clearing, and as I said last night, the stones have been completely carted away and moved a long time ago. So this could easily, it's been filled in, I would say almost quite within the last couple of years. And this is it, this is the end of the line. But it's not to say it's the only entranceway around here. We obviously didn't take any of Shaver's warnings. We took them seriously, but I still thought that it was worth seeing for ourselves if there was anything to it, you know. And this makes me think that there probably was, because somebody doesn't want people coming down here. And I think that that's really the end of it. I don't see anybody having the will to excavate here. I don't think I want to unlock the secrets to the underworld myself, but at least we've maybe made people aware of the legend and its connection to Innisfree.